The habit of mind of managing impulsivity is one of those habits that if this was my habit, I would actually break it into two separate habits. I think there are two distinct components to this habit that are worth exploring. The first is the one that we often rush to, ironically, which is the impulse part. We talk about impulse buying and students who call out in class and all those sort of things that happen on an impulse. And it is part of that managing emotions and that emotional rush that causes us to do things. But the second part of this habit is possibly even more important, which is the long-term management of impulsivity. What Stephen Covey calls working in the gap between stimulus and response. And someone who's impulsive, there's no gap. Stimulus, response, stimulus, response. But someone who's good at managing their impulsivity, stimulus, and they create a space, a gap where they can be thoughtful, decisive, to consider their actions before they respond. And when Stephen Covey talks about this, he talks about working in Q2, the planning quadrant, which is for things that are important, but not urgent. Things that could be left, and often are, till tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. But people who manage their impulsivity well know that those things shouldn't be left and prioritise their time to do them. Things like planning, things like preparation, things like personal development, things like relationship building, all these things, we can do that next week, we can do that the week after. But when we don't manage our impulses that way, those things never happen. So as you reflect on this habit, I want you to think of it in two parts. Yes, the rush, the impulse, the rise of the red haze that comes down, the road rage type impulses. But also that more thoughtful management of impulsivity that happens over a longer period of time, that allows us to say, these are things that have to get done. I will bring them forward to make sure they happen today.